Hello everyone, welcome to the Self-Love Corner. I'm your host, Kimberly Gonzalez, also known as the Self-Love Sister. And today I was doing my makeup and I wanted to share with you guys a few of my comfort movies that I like to watch. They talk about like autoimmune diseases, disabilities and whatnot. And, representation with these type of illnesses or it's not common. So when I find one and it's actually really good, I like to share it. Because a lot of these type of movies, they obviously, in life, it's not like you get this injury and you're done. Like a lot of it with, an autoimmune disease, talks about it like going, long term and stuff like that. So I want to share with you my favorite and foremost best movie, Love and Other Drugs. It's a movie with Anne Hathaway and Jake Gyllenhaal, so star movie. And I love Anne Hathaway, and I think she portrays the actress like really well, or like the story of the actor. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Like she portrays her role really, really well. And so it's a young woman with Parkinson's. I believe she's 25, and I love her. She's just like a baddie going around. Like she's not really interested in like dating anyone long term, because she knows like living with this condition is difficult on its own, let alone like bringing in a partner. But she ends up meeting this pharmaceutical representative or something like that. He's like in the medical field. He's not a doctor, but I think he sells medications. I can't really remember, but I believe that's what he does. And so like he's really interested in this girl. Like he's just stunned. Like he loves her attitude and he loves like how she looks and she's beautiful and whatnot. And he's so insistent in like wanting to take her out. She's like, oh my gosh, like why? But it's funny, it's cute, because if someone truly wants to go that extra mile to get to know you and stuff, it shouldn't stop them just because you have a disability or an autoimmune disease. So I love that message of the movie. And anyways, she goes through it, and then she at first she keeps it quiet down, but then she goes to like a conference. And if you guys don't know, I like to attend conferences to feel empowered, because that's what they are. Like they're conferences to inspire you. So she attends one of these conferences, and like I think he has like a work meeting, and then there's a conference right across the street with I want to say Parkinson's or MS or something like that. But it's and at the end of the day, like she actually accepts that he loves her and they're gonna go through this, and they both come to the realization that it's gonna be hard, but it's not impossible. So it's just a beautiful movie. Another one is Soul Surfer. If any of you guys have watched it, let me know. But it's about a young girl who her whole life she grew up in I believe Hawaii, and she loves surfing. And so one of these days she goes surfing with some friends, and there's like a shark attack, and I forget if it was the left or the right, but one of them, like the shark bites her, and like she's only left with this. It's so traumatizing, but it's such a beautiful movie, because it kind of reminds me of like my family, how they like to take tough situations, and it always makes me kind of like cry when after the surgery. If any of you guys have had surgery, you guys know, but it's always like the first bandage removal, and it can be very hard seeing your new limb, and it's just all these emotions. But the family takes it I don't want to say well, like they're like happy and stuff like that. They don't really show her how sad it is, and that's literally how it is in my household. My mom told me, like, when I was first diagnosed, like she used to cry in the room, and I never saw that. Like they never made me feel different. So I relate to that movie a lot. They do their most to try to find like ways to like help her out and stuff, and it's beautiful. Like the ending of the movie is just like she learned how to surf again, and it's just beautiful watching her journey and feeling empowered with her new arm and stuff. And she's not scared of the ocean, and she talks about that, and it's a beautiful movie. Another one that I recently saw is the movie Stronger, and his girlfriend is running in the Boston Marathon, and it talks about like the Boston bombs, and he's there for her for his girlfriend, and you know, the bombs hit and he ends up losing both his legs. Like, they have to be amputated above the knee. And that movie really made me cry the first time I saw it, because after the first bandage removal, you know, you can hear the doctors talk about like using Dilaudid and fentanyl and all this stuff, and it just brought me back to like when I got my toes amputated and how that first bandage removal really hurt. And I remember the doctor saying, you know, increase her Dilaudid or something like that. And when I'm going through something like that, like a limb removal or something like difficult, I just kind of zone out. And I always say like, God, I'm in your hands. You do what you have to do. And I don't know if anyone else does that, but I just kind of zone out. And so like watching those movies kind of like makes me remember like I went through that. And I mean, I cry when I'm watching it. I don't know how I'm still managed to like be positive. And I mean, I'm not always positive, as you guys know, with an autoimmune disease. No matter how hard you try, like there are going to be some days when you just don't feel well, you don't feel mentally strong, and that's okay. I feel like everyone has those moments, and they don't have to have a disability or an autoimmune disease. They just get overwhelmed, whether that's with a family, job, etc. Like, it's just, life can be really overwhelming, and I think it's important to like take a step back and know when you're feeling like overwhelmed and stuff, so you can really rest up and take that time to like heal. Now, there's certain family parties where, I mean, I'm either really exhausted, and by exhausted I mean like fatigued. And if you guys know what fatigue feels like, you guys know like it's hard. Like, you can barely get out of bed. And my family is super good at understanding me. Like, I think because like before, like they would just say, oh, come on, stop being lazy or whatever. Like when I was first growing up, and I'd be like, yeah, it's like, stop being lazy. But like now they kind of realize like, oh no, if she doesn't go, she's exhausted. Because if any of you guys know, I love parties, and especially when there's live music, because I love dancing. Now, after this toe amputations, it's been really mentally hard for me. Like, it's hard going to a party and, you know, seeing live music, and I can't dance. And, you know, dancing is part of me. I love it. For any of those who don't know, I am always like the person on the dance floor. Like, I absolutely love it. Now, just the fact that, you know, it's taking some time for me to get back to it. I mean, when I dance, or if I don't care if I'm like wobbly or whatever. Like, I love dancing, but sometimes like the fatigue is so hard for me, and then dancing because I want to dance, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna skip this one. And you know, they're really good at it. You know, they're always texting me and stuff. And the best part is when they send me money for food so that I can order and stay home. Like, I love that. But I get to be with my dogs. I get to read, watch a show, put on eye mask, do a little self-care for me, and watch these movies. I'm sorry, y'all, I went a little bit off tangent. I will continue for the movie recommendations. Another one is A Walk to Remember. Now, I haven't seen that movie in a while, but it's a really sweet movie. It's like a girl that's in high school, and she tutors like this bad boy or something, and I forget what she has. I don't know if it's leukemia. I think it's leukemia. And so like, let's say she has like a year to live, and like she knows that, so she doesn't want to get attached to anyone. But it was really funny because in the movie she's like, okay, I'll, you know, tutor you, help you with school, under one condition. He's like, what? She's like, well, you can't fall in love with me. And you know, he's laughing because he's like, quote unquote, like the popular kid, and she's like the shy kid, and so like they don't mix. But the more time that he spends with her, he realizes that she's like really sweet, really smart. She just doesn't care what people think, and he ends up falling for her. Now, this is really hard because as someone that knows they're gonna pass away, they don't want to hurt someone else. But again, that's for the saying, like, if they wanted to, they would. So like, he knew she was gonna pass away and stuff, but he made every second count. So I love that. So it's a really cute movie. Highly recommend it. Another one is Brain on Fire. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but it's with this really famous actress. I believe her name is Chloe. But I'll leave all these movies linked down below. But she's like a journalist in New York, and all of a sudden she starts getting headaches, and I believe she's diagnosed with epilepsy, or something like that. But you know, it takes her through her journey of like trying to figure out what's wrong with her, and then trying to live with this condition, like, and still be you know, a boss woman, because that's who she was. And just because you have something that's a little different doesn't mean that you can't be that boss woman or boss man or whatever. But it's a really good movie. It's a really empowering. Again, I believe that movie's on Netflix. Another movie that I love, I haven't seen it in a while, but it's a movie that Bob Saget did, For Hope. That's the name of the movie. But he had a sister who had scleroderma, and it shows like her life and the stages and all the effects and mental effects it takes on you. Highly recommend it if you have scleroderma. And I believe the Scleroderma Research Foundation, like, they do something, I want to say Scleroderma month is in June, so I want to say they do like a free month to watch that movie, or like, you know, to watch that movie in celebration of Scleroderma month. And it's really empowering. Like, I love it. I mean, I like I said, I like feeling like I'm not the only one going through this. I believe there's one more movie, but I cannot remember. No, I think that was 5, right? Oh wait, another one of my favorite movies I recently, well, not recently, but I saw it in like the last 2 years, is called 5 Feet Apart. And, you know, it talks about a girl with cystic fibrosis. It's a lung disease, and it's just a beautiful, like, cute romance movie. I mean, they're both young, they're both navigating life with this new thing, and they're going through like this clinical trial. So I don't know, it's really beautiful. I love those type of movies. But I'm saving the best for last. My parents' love story, because none of them are sick. But you know, it just shows you that, like, if a man is really interested in you, he will do the most to be with her. And I mean, he proposed to my mom after 6 months. Now, of course, she said no, but you know, he was always there. He didn't take it like, oh, she doesn't want me, I'm leaving. Like, he was there, and he did not care. Like, he wanted my mom. And now this just shows you that, like, true love really does go through it, because I mean, they were both young when they had me. I believe my mom was like 19 and my dad like 25, I believe. So they were, you know, they were young. I mean, I can't imagine having a kid right now, and I'm 27. But you know, they grew up, and you know, they had their kids, and I was born normal, quote unquote. And there's a quote that I love that's saying, I believe that being called normal is the worst insult of them all. So, you know, it's a little bit of I don't know, I just like that quote. And that quote is from the movie Cruella that's on Disney. I believe his name's Artie, but he says it. Oh, but anyways, I was born normal, and so was my sister. And I started getting sick at the age of 8. And you know, with an autoimmune disease, it can be like a little overlapping and stuff. So I didn't get a formal diagnosis until I was 12. Now, my parents, I don't know how, by the grace of God, like, they went through that, again, being so young. And you know, this was something still new. Like, there wasn't really social media they can look out for. Like it's amazing how my parents, like, they raised me to be confident despite all this. Like, they never treated me differently. They just said, if you can do it, go for it. Like, I had, to me, like, the best childhood I could have possibly had. They never put any limitations on me. They did always say, like, you know, wear a jacket and be warm, because I was diagnosed with scleroderma and Raynaud's. But yeah, they never treated me differently. So I had a really good childhood. I can't complain. But when I'm going through that is, like, you have to be really picky with who you choose as, like, your life partner, because you never know what challenges God, the universe, whatever you believe in, like, it's gonna throw at you. And if you don't love that person, and then have to go through all these challenges. Like, it's really rare that a couple makes it. And I know that from certain people that I know on Instagram, like their family, like their disability was too hard for them, so their parents end up splitting up and stuff like that. And that's already hard because I know that some people can feel like it was their fault. Not for me, even though my parents never really complained or anything, I did always feel like, oh my gosh, I'm putting so much pressure on my parents or my family. Like, why does this, I would blame myself. But now I know that, my parents did the best that they could, and I appreciate them for that. I mean, of course, with an illness, it's not always going to be like rainbows and flowers and stuff like that. Like, there are going to be down days, and I think it's super important. I think I already said this, but it's super important to be patient with yourself. But yeah, I'll leave all the movies down below. I will also leave my Instagram down below, and as always, follow The Waiting Room on Instagram. I'll leave them linked down below because they post amazing new articles that come out, new like job opportunities. They just talk about everything, and I'm so happy to be working with them and being a part of this wonderful community. But as always, like, if you have other movie recommendations, leave them down below. I'll make sure to check them out. I'll do reviews. Also, leave links down below of what you want to hear, because I love talking about anything and everything. So like, whether that's pop culture, other movies, some of my favorite like categories are action movies and thrillers. I'm obsessed with serial killer movies. Like, I don't know why, but I also love rom-com and Disney movies. I can talk about pretty much anything. I can go more into depth about my illness. I can go more into depth about like my makeup that I wear, stuff like that. So a little bit of fashion. You guys let me know what you guys want to see. But I love talking to you guys, and I'll see you guys next month.